one more thing, and I'm not sure if you'll know this, but so the hearing yesterday was about the media becoming a party to the case. If the media was a party to the case, would they not be able to have that information?
They would be a limited party, so they would be notified of.
They don't have discovery powers. They don't have
discovery. No, yeah. They're a limited party, so that they would receive notifications, particularly for a closed hearing or classified testimony, but not for. They would not have access to the evidence like the defense has been invited to see.
Thank you, Slick. I so appreciate having you.
There is a pattern of containment here that needs to be addressed. Okay, they live streamed the incident. This is according to Tyler Boyer. They live streamed the incident from the cameras that were closest to Charlie back to the studio. Therefore, taking the SD cards serves no purpose towards preservation. However, it would serve a purpose towards containment if you didn't want that evidence to be out there into police custody or to the public, right? If you wanted to contain evidence, you would want every hard copy, including every virtual copy, as well as Charlie's cell phone. If they grabbed that cell phone and never got it to the FBI and also grabbed those SD cards, that is containment. So we have a lot of questions that need to be answered here. This is crazy that she came out and admitted that she had his phone. We have no idea whether or not it ever got turned in. We have no idea. When did she get that phone? This is another example. This is another example of TPUSA saying that they have evidence from the murder, right? And we have no clear chain of custody. Zero. Same as the SD cards. Now it's a phone. What else is there? Australian Talks, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, g'day Diligent. There's so many weird angles with all this, mate. It's high strangeness personified, right? My question is, Mikey was on the phone within half a second. He was walking away, but his friend just was executed in front of him. I don't understand why the ordinary human reaction to that, particularly when you have such a relationship with him, would be to walk in the opposite direction rather than immediately render assistance. I just don't get that. And then it was either on one of Sam's videos or Ryan Matter's videos, but it shows the alleged shooter sprinting across the roof after taking the shot at exactly 2.9 seconds. And it doesn't stand to reason that a person who was laying in a prone position was able to jump up to their feet, pack up the gun, put in the backpack or whatever it was, turn around and sprint in the opposite direction, and be at full lunge several meters away from allegedly where the shot was taken in 2.9 seconds. Not even Usain Bolt could do that. So that's another element of the high strangeness. And then I want to know, who was the camera guy? So if we're looking at Charlie and we're seeing...
I forgot. I was on my Bluetooth.
To the left, but to the back of where the tent was, there's a guy standing there with a camera and sort of on a tripod.
The black guy?
And another dude who's standing there like his assistant.
That's Terrell Farnsworth and the black guy. That's who those two guys are.
That's some high strangeness. Their response to what took place there. And then, why on earth did they destroy the crime scene? Why on earth would they destroy the crime scene? I just don't get it. You're the super sleuth, Monsieur Denizon. Mate, I look forward to your explanations for all of this.
I mean, I don't have the answers to which we don't have evidence to supply, you know what I mean? But all I can say is that the answers that are being given by TPUSA are inconsistent with what's with the evidence. You know, it's their inconsistencies that are making them suspect, not anybody in particular. This isn't Candace Owens' fault. It's not my fault. It's nobody's fault but their own. They could have come out, been transparent right from the get. Instead, they decided to assume a defensive posture and then go on the offensive against those who are seeking the truth. And as a result, they're dealing with the Streisand effect. When you try to obfuscate something,
let me know if you can hear it right. I might have to start the stream over because I was on my have my Bluetooth on.
especially when it's something people really care about like this, it has the opposite effect, and that's exactly what they're dealing with now. Go ahead, Honey Badger.
Yeah, mate.
Oh, go ahead, you can finish.
Oh, just quickly, Diligent. Yeah, mate. Well, how long is this line of questioning going to be then? Because the only reason it's taking place, some people are asking what others consider extraordinary questions, maybe impossible questions, is because the lack of transparency, exactly as you stated, coming out of TP USA. So therefore the question is, are you intently looking on, wondering what's going to happen? Are they still going ahead with this episode on the 15th? The one that can.
I haven't heard that they weren't. Yeah, sounds like they are.
So that's the one that's meant to answer everything, correct?
Yeah, and I'm gonna, it's gonna be funny, it's gonna be really meta. Candace is gonna live stream their live stream to her live stream, and I think I'm gonna check the broadcast capabilities here. I'm gonna broadcast, I'm gonna live stream, her live stream of their live stream onto our X-Space live stream, so we can dissect what's going on in real time as well. So extremely meta, but it should be pretty interesting. It's just, they gave her a very rigid set of circumstances to which she could attend that thing, and one of the most weird ones was insisting that she come in person, which it seems very there's this ominous, threatening kind of demeanor to it. If I had to say, it's kind of yeah, you got the balls to show up here. I don't know. It does. When they constantly do virtual attendees of guests all the time, but all of a sudden they insist you show up in person at this specific time and this specific date after they've been labeling her demonic and evil for the last 2 months. I think that. I wouldn't, there's no fucking way in hell you could pay me to go. You know what? I went last year as a special guest or a VIP or whatever. I wouldn't fucking go. There's no fucking way in hell I would go to AmFest or any of their events. I will never go again. I guarantee that. You're not going to geofence my ass. All of you people who are all up in arms, happy to hell to fucking go to, admitted to geofencing, and then having their quote-unquote partners track that data, track phones. No thanks. I think I'm good. I think I'm going to pass on that. Don't need to be tracked by your quote-unquote partners, TPUSA. I think I'll pass, hard pass. What do you think, Australian?
Yeah, of course, it has to be that way. They've got big problems on their hands. It's a PR issue, but it's a PR issue rooted in the fact that they're now trying to drag themselves back into alignment of being when the record shows in a different direction. But obviously Erika is now conveying a different message, saying Charlie was never going in that direction. In fact, the whole intent behind TP USA was to encourage more Americans to become Zionist, or for lack of a better term, something like that. So yeah, it's still a lot of stuff to still play out here.
Shabbat Shalom, Australian talks. It's a perfectly normal Christian saying, Shabbat Shalom, right?
Yeah, that's, Honey Badger's got insights into all this, so I'm sure. I'm looking forward to hearing from Honey Badger as well, my man, but yeah, I'll hang around.
Shabbat Shalom, Honey Badger, welcome.
Hi, Vay. I've been listening and I'm not believing what I'm hearing. I'm joking. You guys, I don't have anything earth-shattering at all, but we just know that somebody's lying. The one thing we know for sure is somebody is lying. And so, Australian, when you said, well, Bill, you're the sleuth, it's like we're just asking questions because none of this makes sense. You know what I mean? And you're getting slammed every time we do for whatever reason.
Hey, I really appreciate the super chat, but this one is recorded. I actually prefer streaming the recorded ones because I can pause and interject and conversate with people on my stream. So look, if you go to Diligent Denizon's profile right here, this is on X, Diligent Denizon's profile. and you just scroll down until you see those purple things. I'll show you. He's posted a lot today since his last. So see this one, he's got a reminder set. There's one coming up at 7. I figured I'd probably stream this one until I might, depending on how many people I get in here, I might stream the rest of this one until he starts up his new one for today and do it live. But right here is the one that's 19 hours ago that I'm streaming right now. So yeah, I really appreciate the super chat. You don't have to send me money to get me to talk to you. I mean, not that I don't appreciate it, but I answer just comments and the regular comments.
It seems you can't say a word. Now, since we know someone is lying, let's perhaps examine it from this angle. Let's say Erika is telling the truth. She has her husband's phone. She went on national television, said, I have his phone. That guy's lying. Okay, whatever. All right. This 22-year-old guy who actually people like Megyn Kelly and Matt Walsh are calling for the death penalty for. Idaho is a death penalty state. So they're calling for a 22-year-old to go in front of a firing squad without having every bit of evidence possible. Are we not?
Oh, there's some seriously dark undertones to what's happening here. It's almost like it's a nationwide, like ritualistic.
I don't know if you caught earlier today. This morning I streamed the first hour of this, and so I'm streaming, the rest of it because I wanted to listen to the rest of it, and I might as well hang out with some homies on YouTube while I do it. I'm gonna listen to it any daggone way.
Some kind of satanic sacrifice, a lot of blasphemy, and just it's fucking gross, dude. Whatever this thing is,
terrifying.
It is very fucking dark.
And
what about the coffin, honey? The coffin. A day or two after, he's laying there in the coffin, his hands are a different color, and whatever that is, like when private acts are deliberately made public, it's uncomfortable. Why did she have to make that public? That's so sweet. That's just
the claim was that he got buried out here from and I've been to that church that she supposedly attended, and then they say she never did, and then whatever, she became an evangelical, whatever. But so in the Catholic Church, death and burial records are very, very strict, and they are also public information. So I'm sorry, but that's true. And Diligent said too that Shabbat Shalom was so asserted in a guy coming home,
I didn't realize she did it twice. She did it once on Charlie Kirk's show when they were promoting the book, and then she did it again on Fox. So she it's something. It's consistent.
Did you hear her misspeak?
And let me just say this. I just want to clarify for our listeners real quick. I don't have a problem with people saying Shabbat Shalom. If you are a practicing Jewish Orthodox Jew, or if you believe that's in your culture or whatever, there's no issue there. It's the fact that they're trying to pass it off. They're injecting it into Charlie's legacy when he was clearly leaving the pro-Israel cause. That is what's so fucking revolting about it. Go ahead.
I'm not sure what all of you guys are doing on here right now after Shabbat Shalom drawer time. Especially you, Honey Badger. Your phone should be in the drawer for Shabbat Shalom. We celebrate all the Shabbats in this house.
You don't need to do a victory lap because I spoke on it for a second, Sarah.
I heard you say something about satanic sacrifices, and I'll tell you what, Diligent, every antiseptic, tell them, honey, tell them.
We were talking with Goldie the other day, and I'm telling you, I was making the lots because they were very good, but
did I leave
I want to keep it serious. Bottom right corner, everybody, please repost the space. Thank you so much. Honey Badger, continue with your analysis.
Yeah. Right, okay, so the fact of the matter is and you're absolutely right, because, I was in Sarah's space for a second.
All right, I just got to the house. It's gonna switch to Wi-Fi. If y'all lose sound, let me know, and I'll have to refire this thing up.
Just earlier, and the differentiate is exactly this: you cannot be both. All right, does not make me anti-Semitic. You're either Jewish or you're Christian. It can't be both. So anybody that calls themselves a Christian, throw the word Judeo-Christian out of your vocabulary. It's a nonsense. It's a and for her to force that into her vernacular.
You know, I didn't even realize that they had been injecting that into the vocabulary until this year. But they started doing it last year, and I didn't even notice it. Like, it was so under the radar where they started to mix the two religions together, and I was like, and then now it's Judeo-Christian. Trump's the one that actually got me, I'm like, that's why it flew under the radar, because I was like, he's saying our country was founded on Judeo-Christian values. That's what he kept saying. And I never even questioned it.
It's always been like that. Like even you'd hear broadcasters on Fox say we're Judeo-Christian. That's been a long time ever. They've been throwing around that trope forever, and a lot of weak Christians have always believed that. I mean, you can hear it out of Ted Cruz's mouth. We must unite with the Jews, and we don't have to unite with anybody. We're Christian, and it'd be real cool if we all got on our own sides, and rep to Jesus Christ first and foremost, and let everything fall to the side and just practice our own faith.
Right on. Thank you so much. Let's go to Catherine. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to speak on the phone a bit. So I work in cybersecurity, and I'm trained in chain of custody for different things. So, for example, I'm not with law enforcement, but if I have to do an insider threat investigation or a different type of investigation for a corporation, there's very specific steps you take, and it's similar for law enforcement. But the chain of custody is pretty specific. If you have something like a phone or a computer that you take into evidence, the first thing you do is you make a complete copy of the device itself. The device has to be, from the moment it gets secured to all the way till it gets released, it has to have timestamps for every person who interacts with that phone. And so once it got into, let's say if it did get into law enforcement's hands, they have to timestamp that when they got it for preservation of evidence. When a forensic analyst makes a copy of that phone, they actually work off the copy. The phone itself is then secured. I'm sure you guys have seen in trials and stuff, but when they show, if you have a forensic analyst that's on that's testifying, they're going to have the phone itself in a baggie, and they're going to verify that, yes, that is the phone that I took the forensic image off of. And you do all of your backup work on that. All the stuff that you're going to do as a forensic analyst, you're going to do off that copy that you made. I also wanted to highlight that the texts that we saw, I believe they were WhatsApp, that talked about him leaving the pro-Israel cause. So WhatsApp does not show up in carrier logs. It does show up.
I was going to say that as well. Thank you.
Yeah. So it shows up that there's an app that's using it. I think sometimes they can identify which specific app is using data, but it doesn't show that this person messaged or this person called, that phone, because it's not using the cellular, it's using the internet connection. In addition, WhatsApp is end-to-end encrypted. And why that's important is because WhatsApp does not retain a copy of your messages. You have to typically be on the device itself. So things like WhatsApp and Signal, the device becomes crucial to making sure that individual wrote that. And it gets really complicated too, because you also want to make sure that phone stays in the exact state it was. So for example, if you have an update that comes out for your phone and you do that update, I'm sure some of you may have had this problem where you had to log back into Signal or you had to log back into WhatsApp, and that can absolutely impact the integrity of the data that's on the device itself. So very, very, very interesting. that they didn't have his phone. And then the other thing that I just wanted to say, and this is probably like, I don't know, the woman in me, but the way she said, and I have his phone, in my opinion, it was like really snarky. Like, I can't really explain it, but I just thought it was interesting the way it was said. And I just wanted to add that input regarding the phone. That's all I have.
Yeah, do you they have answering to do. I want to know if they ever checked that phone. That's a huge lapse. My question, I guess, would be...
Sorry for the background noise. I just got home. I was talking to my son.
Let's say the scrutiny comes on. They say that they're going to have to be able to prove chain of custody through...
Also, please hit the like button. Thank you for whoever did that. Please hit the like button. It helps get more people in here hanging out.
Logs by the... If the defense doesn't ask these questions, we'll know for a fact he's not getting an adequate defense. We're laymen, right? Except for Slick Dog. Like, if we know to ask these investigative questions or these legal questions, and they're not even, we're not attorneys. I mean, Slick Dog is actually an attorney, and they're not pursuing these leads, or they are not investigating, Harrison, for example, or this chain of custody with the cell phone. What if the defense doesn't do these things? I would say it's fairly safe to assume that they're not exploring all of their strategies as far as, who killed Charlie Kirk, because you would kind of want to, if you have evidence to suggest that someone else killed Charlie Kirk, then that would potentially exonerate your client, right, Slick Dog?
Yeah, if the prosecution has exculpatory evidence, that they are obliged to disclose that to the opposing party, to the defense. But if they don't have it to begin with, and suspect that...
And if the investigators allowed TPUSA to grab any exculpatory evidence...
then they never have it to begin with. Right, but it just seems that the normal course...
What happens in that case? What happens if there's potentially exculpatory evidence? And this was always my deal about the SD cards, that by having TPUSA remove the SD cards and fuck with the chain of custody, you're potentially... Let's just say Tyler Robinson is guilty. Well, if you have a verifiable break in the chain of custody where, Terrell Farnsworth takes the SD card and does God knows what with it, the defense can say, hey, this could be exonerating evidence that was fucked with, and get a mistrial at the very least, right?
I don't know about a mistrial, but I certainly believe the defense can certainly...
Reasonable doubt.
They can conduct their own investigation, but I imagine they would be, obliged to share that information that they collect with opposing party, just, so there's not, trial by ambush. There's a long way to go and to reach those stages in terms of the collection of evidence. And it can certainly be obtained. I just would imagine that this defense is going to bring its own witnesses, just as the state will, have its witnesses.
Right on. Let's go to Amira. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking about the text messages that Candace had shared. It was, in the past between her and Charlie, and he was saying, that you'll be my David, basically talking about dying young and all of that. And I just find it really difficult to believe that he would share all of those things with his very good friend, but not his wife. So she had no idea about the feelings that he was having, that he was texting other people, that he felt that they were going to kill him, but he never said it to her. I don't believe it.
That's a good question. Somebody else has said that. I've seen that all day. People were saying, well, maybe they weren't that close. Well, they were only married for 4 years. And they got married relatively quickly. He was interviewing her.
I was getting a call.
Okay, well, I'm talking. he was interviewing. I'm going to mute you for a second. He was interviewing her for a job, and I believe Trump is actually the connection that got them together. Now that I think about it, it was Trump's network that led them to the interview, and she, from what I had heard of either, I can't remember if it was his recounting of it or her recounting of it back when this all first went down. She said that she was going to marry him, or that he was going to be her husband by the end of the interview. And then they dated, and wasn't maybe not even a year later, I don't think they were married. It might not even, I think it may have been like 6 months. Noxie, am I wrong?
No, you're right. There's something about that TV show that she did in the Hamptons. And
that one I found?
The one that I found that I sent you, yes.
Yeah, I don't know. But
Yeah.
maybe it was.
Maybe it was, yeah. So the TV show in the Hamptons, and then she's dating that guy on the show, and then
it was weeks before she met Charlie Kirk.
Right, and then and she was in the Hamptons, and think about how much the Hamptons has played a part. I've sent Sarah like the pictures because we're trying to figure out whose house that she was staying at. She has pictures.
I'm getting back to working on it now. Sorry.
Yeah, so there could be a connection there between who she was staying with.
And you need to look at her real estate agency as well.
Yeah.
She was a real estate agent up there.
And so, there's something that happened in the Hamptons up there where she immediately went from this TV show where she was dating this guy, and then a week or two later, after the show wraps up and she breaks up with this guy, whatever, that she is immediately with Charlie Kirk, like in a week or two. So, just with the meeting that Charlie had in the Hamptons with Bill Ackman and all of that stuff happening in the Hamptons, she was in the Hamptons right as she was meeting him. It just feels like there might be a small little world or network up there in the Hamptons that made this happen.
You think?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, you're going to tell me that he shared these things with Candace, but never shared it with his wife at all, not once. And then, Erika, knowing that Candace was his really good friend and is uncovering all kinds of evidence and finding out that the Egyptian planes have been following her for a year and a half. She didn't say, what is with these planes? They've been apparently following me. She has no question about it at all. It's just very strange. And then the other thing I was wondering, is there ever been a patsy in history that didn't get convicted of the crime?
Well, I mean, if they're patsies and they've been convicted,
Yeah, Lee Harvey Oswald was never convicted of the crime.
Well, because he was taken out.
He got killed before he could. Also, Epstein. All right. Who else? John Luke Burnell also died before he could be convicted of the crime. So there is a number of examples of patsies or fall guys who died before they could see their day in court. Interesting how that works, isn't it?
Yes, but I didn't mean dead. I meant has there anyone ever been found not guilty? A patsy not found not guilty?
I don't know. Go ahead, Chelsea.
I'll be nice today, I promise. I'm glad that you are having some more questions, like all of us. I am not, anti-Jewish, but there is a lot of odd things occurring right now, and I gave Erika the benefit of the doubt until that photo of her with Tyler and Netanyahu's son surfaced. And that was way before she met Charlie.
That was 6 months after she met Charlie. That was that was 6 months after. That was in June of 2019, and she met him in September.
Well, the whole thing
she met him in September of 2018.
So the whole thing is really weird to me, and it gives me Princess Diana vibes. And then today, somebody posted an interview where she referred to the kids as my kids climbed on him 2 or 3 times. She didn't say our kids. I'm I have kids, and I would never say my kids. And I made a joke this morning, and I was like, is that why she hides their faces? Do they not look like Charlie? Is that what's going to give it away? Then on the way home from Las Vegas today, because I live outside Vegas, I was literally just thinking maybe she's going through the 5 stages of grief, and her anger is just misdirected at Candace right now. And I'm like, thinking to myself, well, God's going to continue to show us the truth. And I shit you not, I posted a video of it. I look up and there's an F-150. And I don't know if it's like an actual model or the person had it customized, but it said Black Widow on the tailgate and I lost it. So I don't know. I don't trust her at this point, especially now that she's recanting. When Frank Turek said it all, the story changes. Now they're saying that
Erika is a lying B word. Yeah, well, she sure doesn't look genuine. I'll say that much. And they have actually caught her in a lie now at this point. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of calling women bitches when you're actually meaning it in a mean way. I do like calling bitches from time to time, but it's usually like my down ass bitch, because my wife is my down ass bitch. But I bet this gets taken out. We have a year at least to go. I don't know what you mean by that, Jay.
a bullet went in the stomach.
Are you talking about that Tyler gets taken out? Because I would not be surprised at all if that's, what happens.
And as someone who, I've worked in the medical field my whole adult life, CNA, medical assistant, and phlebotomist, military, and then nursing, it's just not, it makes no sense. There has never been a bullet, let alone a 30-06, that would hit the areas that they're saying it hit without damaging the soft tissue and nicking the airway. And if it hit his jugular and his carotid artery, it would be like you opening a dam. Like blood would have been coming out of his mouth. He, at the very least, would have been choking on it because it's instantly just gonna go out. And so to me, I still don't believe that. I think it's an exit wound, like we've said since day one.
As far as the wound goes, the first thing I thought was exit wound. I'm no super expert. I mean, I was in the Army, but that don't mean jack crap. I was a Patriot missile guy. But it looked like an exit wound. I have watched a lot of murder shows, but that makes everybody an expert. But yeah, it looked like an exit wound. And if I've shot a lot, okay, I haven't shot 30-06 a lot, but I've shot a lot of weapons. I know how powerful I have shot a 30-06, and I know how powerful they are. And if you're telling me a human neck stopped a 30-06, I want to know exactly what round that 30-06 was firing, because I bet even a light loaded miss with bad freaking like bad powder. I mean, it would have to be the worst loaded 30-06. It's definitely nothing that you bought at the store. Okay, you made this round and you did it poorly. And does Tyler Robertson strike me as the guy that's loading rounds he just doesn't strike me as that. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong. But this whole 30-06 thing is utter fucking bullshit.
Thank you, Chelsea. Appreciate that. I'm trying to keep it more on like, I don't really want to rehash all of the ballistics and the blood and all that. Like, I think we've done that ad nauseum. I want to kind of keep it back to where we're at today. Bottom right corner, everybody, please repost the space. I see we have 800 people or 750 people in here, and 100 reposts. Spaces are kind of...
Yeah, and we got 23 people in here and 3 likes. 3 likes, and I bet most of y'all ain't even subscribed to me.
Broken, so the way you can help it get visibility is by going down there and reposting the space in the comments section. I do have some posts concerning what we're talking about. I want to do this clip of, and this is up in the Jumbotron if you guys want to go look at it, of Matt Walsh, because Cohen's, there's a huge media campaign. There's this massive media campaign happening right now there's a couple of things happening. One is to push the idea that Tyler Robinson is guilty. Okay, that's one. Without him having his trial, so they're tainting the jury pool. They're propagandizing the public right now. It's fucking crazy. It's full throttle. It is full fucking throttle. It is coming from TPUSA. It is coming from the so-called influencers.
I'm gonna play the clip so y'all can check it out.
I want to say this about Erika.
I haven't heard it.
And on that note, I want to say this about Erika. I had only met Erika maybe once or twice prior to Charlie's death. After he was killed, of course, I reached out to her. And we spoke briefly on the phone. Again, I'm not going to go into detail about the content of a private conversation, except to say that Erika, who had just lost her husband in the most shocking way imaginable, spent most of our conversation trying to encourage me and tell me how much I meant to Charlie, as I tried desperately to deflect the conversation back to her, the person who mattered. She's the grieving widow with children who at that point still didn't even know that their father was dead. And yet here she was on the phone, through her tears, through the very deep and clear and audible anguish and pain in her voice, still trying to be gracious and encouraging to somebody else, some guy she barely knew. And it was clear to me then, and has become all the more clear to me since, as I've gotten to know her more, that this is somebody with an immense amount of strength and courage. So when people look at Erika and say she's acting strange, I've never seen a grieving person act this way. Well, I agree. She's an exceptional person in an extraordinary situation, handling it with remarkable poise and dignity. That is a virtue. And virtue is a strange thing in our day.
No.
And on that note,
no, Mr. Matt. Wearing the crap that woman's wearing, and I'm telling you right now, if my wife caressed the back of, yeah, that guy takes polls for sure. He's definitely he likes some pole. He needs more pole in his life. Erika caressed the back of JD's head while she was hugging him. If my wife did that to some dude, the very first thing I would do would be knock that motherfucker out. And then me and my wife would be arguing for like a long fucking time. I don't know if I could forgive her. That was just, I can't even imagine my wife handling a dude like that. And this was just a couple days after he was taken out, right? What in the hell? This is not normal. Whatever you think about the situation, when you look at Erika Kirk, you do not see normal reaction for a grieving widow. That you can't tell me that. I just don't believe it. She is weird, dude.
Right, the so-called quote-unquote new media who have shown themselves to be utter fucking shills for the establishment, and I'm thoroughly disgusted for really kind of even interacting with them at all, ever. But that's okay. Some of them are, I see they're like sitting on the fence, and that's fine. But the ones who are actively lying on behalf of the establishment can go fuck themselves. They're fucking fake and gay. But anyways, bottom right corner repost of space. Let's listen to this clip of Matt Walsh doing a puff piece for, well, here, I'll read you the caption I put out here. It says this. It says, when someone is good, you don't need an entire mainstream media and new media campaign to convince the public that they're good. The Erika Kirk puff pieces are obvious, and we the people see through it. Doubt in TPUSA has increased this week. It's actually increased exponentially since the beginning of November. But listen to what he had to say.
and tell me. And on that note, I have a conversation.
I'm gonna fast forward it because obviously I just played that for you.
Except I tried through the more clear to agree.
So, if you didn't pick up what he was trying to tell you there, is that the inconsistencies in Erika Kirk's behavior are the result of her being a remarkably poised and virtuous person. That is why she's not crying when she's acting like she's crying. That is why she's wearing black skinny jeans to funerals. That is why. You can't. Fucking. And dude, so these people are selling their credibility. It reminds me, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Simpsons movie where they have to have this guy come in and shill something that's completely unbelievable to the government. I forget his name. Maybe I'll post the clip. But it is, the government no longer has any credibility, so I've decided to lend it some of mine. And then he comes in and he tells the lie that they want him to tell. It's along those lines. So it's just, I did some research earlier. The accounts, here's just an example of the accounts who are doing puff pieces on Erika Kirk this week. Okay, it is all week long, and it's really kind of climax, pun intended, the last 2 days. Okay, Timcast, Matt Walsh blog, Robbie Starbuck, Emma Rincon, S. Crowder, Conserve a Million, Pastor Scott, and Mr. Andy NGO, Colin Rugg, and even the Daily Mail. All of them. CBS, Fox, all of these influencers and even legacy media, mainstream media, are all doing puff pieces on Erika Kirk all week long, leading into the Monday, quote-unquote, debunking of Candace Owens, followed by their AmFest celebration at the end of next week. So it doesn't, people aren't buying it. I did the analytics. They really tried hard to flip Candace Owens and flip anybody who was going against the narrative, and it has not worked. It's pretty much fizzled. Like, it didn't have the momentum. It looked like it was going to. They were on that big cancel wave. Cancel Candace. It reminded me of Juicy Smouillet. You know what I mean? Justice for Juicy. It had those same vibes. I'm thinking about Tim Smollett. Anyways, let's go to Nilly. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Why'd you laugh? Why'd you laugh when you say Nilly? I know, it's okay. No, okay. I just want to say something about the FBI with the text messages. It's about, yes, it's my God. It's about the text messages that. It's about the text messages about. Okay. Do you, when you send a message, for example, to a person, do you? Oh my God! Vehicle, my car. Okay. In these messages, it's like chat. In the message. What after the messages?
I want you to reformulate your. Hold on, I'm gonna have you reformulate. I do want you to collect your thoughts because you repeated yourself 4 times. Get yourself together on your question, and I'll come back to you. Let's go to LeBarc. Go ahead. Probably a mute glitch.
No, it's just yeah, probably. Thanks, Dylan. So I know someone was mentioning that Charlie was using WhatsApp, so I actually use it, and they can actually recover the metadata because the chats of like conversations and stuff, it backs up and it auto backs up every month, so it's not like something that cannot be recovered. So even if it's encrypted, the FBI can get it back with a court order if they really wanted to investigate. I'm not going to speculate though. I just wanted to comment on that.
From the device, they need the device to do that.
Yes, but they can do that. Yes, but
the question was,
even if they delete it, what I'm trying to say is that even if they delete the messages, they're still going to be able to get that information back because it's backed up into the iCloud. Like for example, I can show you. So for every chat that I have, even if I delete the conversation, there's like a 1 gigabyte for like a specific chat. So if they get, they'll get the phone physically, of course, and they can get the metadata, or they can contact WhatsApp and they can actually get that information too. It's all backed into the iCloud either way, though. So I don't know if they're gonna call Apple or whatever, but they can definitely get that information with a court order if they need it. And I double checked with Grok just now, just to make sure, and they can definitely do that if they really wanted to get that information, which I think is relevant to the
And
case.
just to clarify, chats and metadata are two different things. The metadata is the IP address.
I missed that.
So
Sorry.
when you're talking about
Metadata
the
can be a
text-
lot of things depending on the type of media you're discussing.
Exactly. Yeah. And then there are a lot of nuances with, like, if you update the phone, and there are, with law enforcement, they do have a lot of special capability that even if you update it or you do different things, they can see each stage of it. Again, they have to have that device.
Correct.
Which begs the question, have they ever had the device? You know, I want to know. We should know. These are the questions that TPUSA should be answering. Like, why the hell? Oh, yeah, it's got me boggled. It's got me boggled. Go ahead, Terry.
Hey, thanks. And Catherine, you rock. Is the question I have to Catherine is, do you typically, when I've done these cases, I have the device mirrored, you know, I take an image of the hard drive of the device, right? Be it phone, computer, whatever. But I guess in a criminal case, you would want to keep possession of the phone. Is that, I guess what I'm asking is, what is the typical scenario that criminal investigators use?
Yeah, so I'm not a criminal investigator, but I have worked with law enforcement on different cases, never, murder or anything. Mine are usually with corporations.
Right.
A lot of, across cybersecurity, you're trained, there's different standards of how you're trained in forensics. And it doesn't matter if it's law enforcement, if it's an insider threat, if it's a ransomware incident. When you are investigating a device, just like you said, you're always working off. He said the image is the backup of the device, or what you took the full. I was just kind of explaining that to everyone else. So when you take up that backup of the device, forensics, you always work off the backup so you don't taint the chain of custody with the original device. And that's why you keep the device. You usually keep it under lock and seal. You sign it, this is where it's kept, this is when it's signed out. So it's very, very unlikely in any type of investigation, especially one as serious as this, that if they had to take some type of forensics off of the phone itself, that they would give that device back. It's very, very extremely unlikely that they would do that.
I can't imagine them not imaging the device at a minimum. Right?
Yeah, they could have done that. That is a good. They could have just done quick backup, assume they don't need it, right off that they don't need it again. But then that would probably be in Slick Dog could answer it. But because it then does, that backup does become part of the case, and it becomes, evidence. So if there's any time someone needs to look at that, then, they would have to take it back. I've never heard of a device being given back in any situation.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. It sounds like you have more experience actually imaging phones in a trial. I've never been in that position. But so one, it is unlikely that they never had the phone to begin with. And then two, they never asked for it as part of the investigation. Both of which are just staggering.
No, that is nuts. If they never had his phone, his personal phone, and never imaged it, that's insane.
They may have imaged it and provided and are providing. I mean, if they had it, they can image it. But was this speaking that has the IT experience? I'm sorry,
Catherine.
Catherine, thank you very much. I mean, that's just great information. I would imagine they would do both. They would image it, but they would keep the physical unit. And I don't know if you're on before.
I have a little bit of experience with this, not on the doing it side, but I will just say I know a person very close to me who was involved in a case. It was not a murder case, but it was a court case, and they had that phone for like 6 months with that person trying to get it back constantly, and that like it was like pulling teeth to get that daggone phone back because it was part of an investigation, and it wasn't even really part of an investigation. It was just they freaking took it. It didn't even have nothing. So yeah, the fact that they don't have Charlie Kirk's phone right now is wildly suspicious. Seems to be a lot of that going around in this case.
Before, but I've looking at the timeline of court filings regarding preservation of evidence that started with a defense motion on October 8th. The judge issued the order prematurely because there were still 2 more days for the state to respond. They ended up setting aside that order. The state did reply, and when it did reply, they still had Tyler Robinson's car. And then on the 27th, they issued a notice to defense. Come on and look at, we'll set up a room with all our evidence, make an appointment, come. We urge you to come and look at. This was, I think, a standard protocol by the state's attorney to do this. So they issued that on the 28th. And then on the November 2nd or 8th, both state and defense agreed upon a protocol for releasing evidence. One, for releasing evidence, and then also for a notification requirement for the state to notify the defense if there is to be any testing, whether it's ballistics or DNA testing that could result in the destruction of the evidence, that they or release of physical evidence, such as Tyler Robinson's car, to his parents who would like it, that the parties agreed there would be a 14-day notification period whereby after receiving the notification, defense could then object. If defense stays silent, then they could do whatever testing that they want to do or release the evidence. And I just find it highly unlikely that they would have released the phone, that the defense would have said, sure, yeah, send the phone, just drop it in the FedEx, send it to Erika.
And
I think that they would want to preserve that. The car, okay, the Tyler's parents want to, don't want to have to be making car payments on it forever. But I mean, I would be very surprised if at this point they've, even with this agreed upon protocol that was just a few weeks ago, that they've released anything, especially when you do the timeline with the 14-day window.
Typically when I do these cases, they're, first of all, everybody's alive and people just want their phones back, right? So I get the phone, I give it to a guy who's a former FBI agent, Quantico, battlefield collection on the Taliban. I hand it to him. I say, okay, do the collection. He images the phone, gets it in the big software they use is something called Celebrate.
Doesn't it make
I don't understand symbols, so I can't read that for you.
more sense to image the phone and give the family a copy of the image and keep the original while you're conducting the investigation and having a trial?
Well,
Yes,
That would be sensible.
one other thing though is they need a warrant, I believe. Because like if you're dealing with a corporation and the device is owned by the corporation or the individual assigned some type of consent with they're bringing their own device, then the corporation can image that without a warrant. Sometimes it's very nuanced, but
you would need one if there's a homicide investigation.
Yes.
Probable cause is a
even though he's the victim, they would still need a warrant to be.
I don't know about that.
You know, he's a victim. Like, I don't think so, because it's a homicide.
Yeah, Dog, what do you think?
Probable cause is already implied by the investigation.
Yeah, I mean, they can see. Would they need a warrant?
It was evidence of his murder. He was. He had it in his pocket when he was shot.
I mean, if they weren't able to collect that information voluntarily, then yes, then they would have to go they would have to get a warrant through,
which kind of raises an interesting question that anybody say, no, you can't have it? I don't know. I mean,
yeah,
no evidence.
I don't know either, but it just is really weird that they wouldn't. I mean, yeah, and then.
So I can tell you this, I'm going to jump in because that case that I was talking about, that person that I'm talking about did not want to give up their phone, and so they did get a warrant for it, and that could be why why they held on to it so long.
Then the other thing, I don't know if you were on earlier, but the court, the judge yesterday, refined the gag order, which was really.
I heard some of it. Yeah.
I heard some of that. Okay, and my view is that Erika, if she's been notified, she probably has been notified, of the requirements when they submitted the filing for her to become the victim representative. Part of that role, would make her a party that, the state would want to notify of the requirements of the gag order, even though technically it applies to the attorney, but she stepped all over that in very bad form.
Yeah, I mean, that was the first thing I said in a comment when I heard that they were going to make her kind of the victim representative, which makes sense, was, okay, well, she's going to be subject to the gag order then, I would think.
Yeah, and that would be an appropriate application of the gag order. That, where it was first issued very early on the case, it was so broad and so vague that it raised a lot of questions, not only by us.
That was problematic, I agree.
Yeah, and the court did its best to clarify that, as did both the state and defense. Good for them. And then the first thing she does is start yapping about material, evidence. Material, or the lack thereof. I mean, that is just if she wants to talk about, the personal relationship, if she wants to talk about Egyptian airplanes or Macron and Brigitte or any of that, fine. But that crosses a line.
Look, so I don't know. Tell me what y'all think, chat. Chat's always smarter than the people that are talking. I believe that gag orders are like freaking unconstitutional as hell. I don't even see how that's a thing. How you can order somebody not to speak about something in America. Like how does a court have the power to do something like that? I could have swore we had this thing called the First Amendment. How do y'all feel about that?
And I got one more thing, and I guess Megyn Kelly said that she wants them executed now. Is that right?
I didn't listen to her podcast, but I think it was something along those lines that she thinks he's guilty. They're all singing the same tune, right? My listeners, like, if you guys are wondering why all of these fucking media influencers and shills are all singing the same tune, is because they're trying to convince you of something. When there is not a lot of substance to convince you, that's why they're all saying things that doesn't have a lot of substance to it. The truth doesn't have to fight to be true. Lies do.
Right.
Consider that. Go ahead, Terry.
You don't have to say it over and over and over again. And I totally agree with this. Is they're all now singing from the same hymnal, saying this guy did it, he's guilty, don't ask any questions. I mean, that's the way it looks to me right now. And it's just...
I was trying to find a clip of that real quick to play it for everybody, but I didn't see it pop up.
Absurd. And there are many questions. And again, I'm not a conspiracy kind of guy. I'm just not. And I would have loved it if Tyler Robinson had done it. And I mean, not loved it, but it would have been, well, fine. We got the guy who really did it, you know? And they put this narrative together at the beginning, which was pretty convincing. But once you get into the detail, you go, what? So, I don't know. Yeah.
We need better psyops, Terry. We need better psyops.
We do, definitely. But I'll just land here. And again, I know nothing about 30-06s and.
All right, let's see what y'all want to see what Megan said.
My only hope, Tyler Robinson did this. It seems very clear to me. My only hope is that
clear, Megan. It seems very clear to you that Tyler oh my gosh,
can be there in the room when they flip the switch and take his life. I want him dead. I want the death penalty handed down against him and anyone who helped him. And I will be gleeful on the day it is carried out. I honestly don't know how that squares with my Catholic faith, to be honest. We're not real pro the state killing people or humans taking other humans' lives, whether it's in the womb or in the course of a crime. But we are pro-justice. And the Bible does say an eye for an eye. And there is no deterrence. I'm sorry, the deterrence, I do believe, requires the death penalty in the most heinous of cases. And I do believe it should be reserved for the most heinous of cases. And this is that. This is that. Charlie was shot down in the prime of his life. He had so much yet to offer.
I agree with you, Megan. The death penalty can and should be a thing. We should maybe even bring back public execution for, especially for treasonous. Yeah. Sorry, Tulip. Looks like Megan's gone. Yeah. I used to like Megan too. Obviously she's beautiful and very intelligent, but she is Fed slopping away, baby. Fed, shill out that Fed slop, Megan. The immediate death penalty for Tyler Robinson. Let me tell you something, Kelly, Mrs. Kelly. Tyler, if you think it's clear that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk, you are retarded.
Blah, blah, blah. I mean, I've definitely shot shotguns as a young man and handguns, so I'm not.
Oh, you're talking about Tulip or race car. You're talking about George Zinn, the dude, the Jewish dude that he dropped his pants and said, shoot me. That is some wild shit. He was obviously involved in some way, shape, or form. Yeah, Megan and Benny turned to Fed slop. I think Benny always was. I mean, yeah, he says some base stuff every now and again, Benny. But he seems like what's that? What do you call it? Those undercover brothers or whatever. Like, he's got a beard wife, dude. That dude's gay.
I'm not like anti-gun, but I've never shot a 30-06, but I look at these guys online, and it's not just one of them. I mean, there's 3 or 5 of them, and they say, look what happens. The head falls off, and I'm like, yeah, that looks pretty convincing to me.
Yeah, I saw all of those videos, and I think that while they are convincing, I don't think that they're like. I don't think it's enough on its own. It should.
No, I agree. I agree. It's not like, but you put it all together and you go.
I like things that are definitive. Thank you, Terry. Let's go to.
You like things that are definitive, huh?
Hey, thanks. Good evening, guys. Thanks for letting me come up for a second. I was just wondering, I noticed that a lot of the stuff that's plastered all over all mainstream media.
Let's see what do you think definitive means? What diligent, bro? What's definitive? This is 3/8 inch steel that Valhalla shot. This over here on the left side of your screen is 1/2 inch steel that Valhalla shot. Let's see, does it?
$2 to $4 grand. So discussed it at the Mental Gymnastics. Trouble is, MAGA crowd will believe what he says. Yeah, of course they do. And I don't know. I don't know if they really believe it or.
Oh, it doesn't.
And I don't know. I don't know if they really.
That's Valhalla VFT. If y'all don't watch his shit, you're retarded. Puts out great content. I was trying to show the damn it. See if it had a clip of him blowing up a cow femur. A cow femur. That's how he says it. Yeah. Holding up a 3,000, the thing that holds up a 3,000 pound animal all day, blew it apart on his thing. There's been so many people shot so much stuff with that 30-06. Just one. I'm with them. I just need one person to reproduce some shit like what they're giving us from the Fed slop. Just give me one reproduction of it. I'll even allow you to load bad ammo to try it out. I mean, I need, just show me a reproduction of it.
Yeah, when we see stuff like news events, when it gets put on every single channel, and then you see it kind of like pushed even with influencers, it usually, in my opinion, it usually seems like this is something that is to manipulate people, right? It's to get out a vibe, to send a message, just like we saw with the Luigi, right? You see a similar pattern here, like when there's that shot of him walking with all the restraints on and all these guards and stuff, you can see that they're amping up something where I've been in jail, but I didn't need a whole team of guys to escort me from the bus to the courthouse, and nor did any of the other gentlemen, so it's like they're amping it up for everyone to see this theater, and I can't help but feeling like, because we've been played so many times, I feel like I'm gullible every time I want to, I see something that outrages, and I feel outraged about it. I'm like, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, maybe that's what this is, right? And I know it sounds crazy, but is it possible that this is something that this whole event, how it's been unfolding, all the red herrings that we've been chasing from the beginning, that maybe this is something that is a design? And is it possible that the intelligence agencies have crafted the perfect food and drink and games for the masses, to distract us while there's something truly important going on the side, in the background? Because what this is, I think everyone can kind of get the vibe where this is going to go. It's probably going to be just as ridiculous as it's been, People are going to be outraged. People are going to get more up in arms. People are going to get more and more upset. People are going to tune in more. Everyone's going to get super into it. It kind of looks like this is being set up for something like that. Could not be like that, of course, but I don't know. It's just.
How much you want to bet that some really bad shit goes on in other parts of the world right at that time, when they put on a show over here, it's always a distraction from what's going on over here. They're trying to pass freaking anti-free speech and gun laws and not get the coverage and shit like that. Everything's fake and gay, bro.
It's just my thoughts on, perhaps we should just be hyper vigilant on what else might be going on while this trial is taking place.
I mean, the trial is going to take a few years, probably, we're looking at like 2027, I think, probably before we actually get to the trial. The the probable cause isn't even until late May, right? That's how drawn out this thing is going to be. The first preliminary hearing is on January 16th. But again, the probable cause for the capital punishment, that's not until almost June of next year, right? So we're looking at, a trial likely around the end of, because there's so much information and so many witnesses around, the end of the year in 2026 or even in 2027, which is going to be interesting because it's going to be right around during the midterms. But, people have short-term memories. Information gets lost, gets destroyed. People disappear. And so I think it's important that we extract as much truth out of this case right now that we can. That way, time doesn't have time, ironically. That way time doesn't destroy the truth or bury it or obfuscate it, like what we're seeing. So, yeah. Thank you for that sign. Who's next, Noxie?
I don't know if Tyler's sitting in a prison or not. I don't know what. I think Tyler almost has to be involved in some way, shape, or form. But is he sitting in a prison? I don't believe that Ghislaine Maxwell is sitting in a prison. Even that luxurious thing that they're calling a prison that nobody but the rich and famous can get into. I very seriously doubt that anybody would consider that a prison. But I don't even think she's bound there. Just like when they did Jeffrey Epstein, they were letting him go on, like, he only had to be there from like certain hours. Like every day he got to go home and shit like that. It was, I mean, that was back, I'm talking about back in 2014 or whenever, when he first got arrested. But I mean, this goes on over and over again, where the people that are involved with the government crimes are not, they're not punished like normal people. If he's in on it, like, and I think he kind of has to be, he's either getting paid handsomely or thinks he's going to get paid handsomely for being there, or he's, yeah, he might not even be there. Who fucking knows, man?
I can't see any hands.
Let's go to Matthew. Go ahead.
Also, please hit the like button.
I mean, it's interesting to see. I'm actually curious and asking, like, why these things take so long to go through the trial process to even get started. I mean, it's probably just I don't really understand the process very much, but is it some cases that go quicker, or if it's such a high-profile case, it takes quite a bit longer time? Is there...
I don't know if it looks like we might be heading in the direction of at least the possibilities open for there being cameras in the courtroom. And I didn't get a hinky vibe. I only seen a couple clips. I didn't watch the whole thing. I didn't get like a hinky vibe from that judge. So he seemed like he was just trying to fucking take care of business. Hopefully that he has integrity. There are judges with integrity out there, and so hopefully he's one of those. Tulip, you said you totally agree, I'm guessing, with the Tyler Robinson thing. Anyway, back to it.
Is there reasoning behind that?
Well, I mean, this was a public assassination with up to like thousands of witnesses. So there's a lot of evidence and potential witnesses that they have to go through, contact them, research, and then also because it's a capital punishment case, it gets a higher standard of evidence, I believe.
I think Slick Dog can answer too, but I think the judge said he had 1,000 cases on his docket. And
I heard that too.
Oh yeah, that's part of it as well.
I think, many people don't understand the load that is on these judges can be unbearable. I mean, it can be, that guy said he's a new judge, which makes it even worse because, a new judge is going to be more cautious. They're going to move slower. And then the attorneys have more than one case. I mean, this isn't their only case, especially someone who has been traditionally, I guess, a public defender. They have the largest caseloads traditionally, and Slick Dog can talk more to this than I can because I don't do criminal stuff. But
looks like his name is Tony Gaff. So yeah, he's clearly gay. I don't see clearly gay on his face. Like, my gaydar didn't go fucking haywire right off the rip. Y'all wanna? Here's a clip. Check it out.
Thank you. I appreciate all parties weighing in on this important matter. And I find that there was a violation of the standing decorum order that was
Okay, I hear the gay now.
in effect as of October 30th, 2025, based off what's been proffered, as well as the AMC order signed by the court. As previously stated by Ms. Visser, the court does have discretion in determining whether to terminate the broadcast of these proceedings. And again, if there's specific circumstances warrant such action that the court...
Yeah, that dude's gay. Yeah, I agree with you. See, chat is almost chat is almost always smarter than the people talking. I watch a lot of people's streams, bro, and I'm always in the live chat, freaking chopping it up. And the bulk of the live chat is always just right on point. I mean, except when you're getting the bot attacks and crap like that, and people spamming. Uh-oh.
No, I agree, and even my practice area, I mean, in terms of criminal, is very low percentage. It's either more civil or regulatory compliance on a federal level. But yeah, no, there's crowded dockets. Many cases. I know in Maryland we have a speedy trial provision. I haven't seen any filings with that, but no, this pace does not.
Sorry to keep pausing the stream, but I like interacting in the chat. It's like hanging out with homies. The bots came in waves of like 50 or 100. Are you talking about like on Ian's stream or something? I've had a bot attack. I like when the bots come in my chat because they come in, and as long as they're not spamming like just repeated, it actually amps the stream up. And I've had thousands of people in on my streams because of when the more you live chat and like and shit, the more you interact with it, it pushes it in the algorithm. So but they will ding your channel if it's like spam, so I have to go through and like delete, like block them and shit like that when they're getting too crazy with it.
Surprised me. I know in Maryland we have depending on the severity of the case, there's different tracks. So simpler cases, are on a 60 or 90-day track, ideally. More serious cases might be on a 180 or 180 day or 9-month track.
It's crazy how much it affects. Like, I can see as soon as I get a like, it'll like it'll probably show me to like 100 people, and I'll get like 10 from them, right? And if those 10 people stay in my stream for like longer than a couple minutes, then all of a sudden I get like 50, and then it's like 100, and you can tell how the algorithm's pushing you out according to like what it does. It's really noticeable on my streams because they're mostly small, but I've had freaking like 90,000 views on them, and I like over 1,000 concurrents in there. But it's wild to watch it. Valhalla gets downright pissed at his butt. Valhalla is, he's a high testosterone dude. he tells you straight up he's juiced to the gills, so you know he's gonna be pretty aggressive and I mean he's like a teenager with that, but he's got a grown man's mentality. So like he's got bursting at the seams hormones. He's a big bad motherfucker. Yeah, he's probably gonna get irritated about some shit. You know, he seems cool. I'm sure he could probably whip my ass or whatever. I'm not a pussy. I'm 6'2", fucking 252. So I can, and I do combatives training pretty often. I might could give him a good healthy roll, but he probably slay me, on the battlefield because he's a freaking Green Beret badass. I was just a little pogue, but I actually did a video criticizing some of the stuff that he said. I did a live stream trying out like a video podcast. I marked it private now, but it only had like 25 views or something. But I gave a little shot at it, but then it felt kind of like edgelordy, where you're like trying to talk shit about people or whatever to get your name up, or I don't hate that shit, so I mark it private. But I don't agree with everything he says, but he has some really good takes, and obviously he knows really well.
Yeah, so there's a lot of reasons as to why it can take so long. One's capital punishment. Two, there's a backlog of cases. I think the judge's lack of experience with cases in general.
I send him I've sent him several what do you call them, super chats. So and I don't think any of them were mean, but I do see where he will tear if they're like against whatever narrative or belief that he has. He will go off on the motherfuckers. It's funny as hell to watch. I sit there and think, damn, bro, like that dude just sent you some money, bro. Like, calm down a little bit. Give him a little grace, dog. But he'll be like, fuck you.
In general, and especially a capital punishment case, are probably going to end up causing some delays in some form or another. As he was noted earlier when he incorrectly ended a deadline while the defense still had time to meet it, or I forget if it was.
Yeah, he issued an order 2 days before. That was a very egregious error. That sounds like something that a new judge would do, and he corrected and set the order aside. And
if we're starting off on that foot, I think it's probably to be expected. We'll see other errors going on down the road.
Yeah, and possible grounds for appeal too.
And possible grounds for appeal, 100%.
And that was the language that was used when state filed its motion to set aside the prematurely issued order, when they talked about a legal error and abuse of discretion. Those are the types of things that you.
Is it lagging? I show a really good connection. Spaces like glitch out sometimes, but it's coming through to me, so it should be coming through to you. Yeah, I don't know what I could do to help fix that.
You cite up front, and then
can the prosecutor?
I'll have to restart a stream if it's that bad. But I would probably will just wait until Diligent Space. Thank you, Tulip. Yeah, it might just be you, Freedom Forever, I think. Yeah. Might just be you. We'll see.
Execution appeal?
Well, I don't know that. I was thinking that too. I was trying to think how would that work?
Yeah, because double jeopardy doesn't allow you to be tried for twice unless it's a mistrial.
Right, but that would be legal error, and I know that.
So I think they would go for a mistrial and not appeal, right? Appeal is something the defense does.
I don't know if it would be called a mistrial. I'm not sure how that would. Maybe Terry has an idea about that.
I really don't. The thing I was sitting here thinking about, though, which I think fascinating to me, is the communication strategy that's going on. Is you have the Charlie Kirk and the team who are just like blah 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 blah. He did it, and then what do you hear from the defense? Silence. And I don't know. Again, I've never been in a case this high profile ever. I mean, a few lawyers have been, I'm sure. But, what is the defense's strategy? It could be, we have so much shit and we're just going to unload at the right moment.
Well, I can tell you what the defense's strategy is not, because I've been following this case the entire time, and it's back in one of these spaces. I don't know which one, but there was I can't remember her freaking name. I followed her, so she was one of the people I'm following. But she had a very prestigious lawyer, I can't remember, but think Johnny Cochran type, that wanted to defend Tyler Robinson, and she was working and trying to make that happen, and she was coming on the spaces like, dude, I can't, they won't give me the time of day. I'm trying to make this connection. Oh, excuse me. Make this connection for him to have like the best fucking defense that he could have. And he's got a freaking public defender. Are you kidding me? This is a career making freaking thing that any good lawyer, defense attorney would absolutely do that pro bono. Like, you're gonna make your freaking name. You're gonna be, lauded or what. I mean, it's a career making case. So there's a bunch of lawyers that want to do that, and they're not letting it. It's just all fake and gay, dude.
They're just gonna talk and talk about how guilty our guy is, and we're just gonna unload. And again, I haven't thought deeply about it until now, but I think it's an interesting question. Why? I mean, I'm not hearing a peep out of the defense, right?
Correct. Terry, I had that same general thought as well. So you're not.
They're under gag order. They can't.
Well, both sides are, man. Both sides are.
But the TPUSA and their minions in the new media are not parties of the case, right? They're not under the gag order, which is why it makes me think I need to get my ass back to Utah and start talking to people, because they're not under the gag order. All the witnesses are good to go.
Diligent. I'm all for you doing that. I want to support you doing that.
Well, I'm just saying, like, TPUSA is out here painting the jury pool, so to speak, right? They're out here every day telling you that Tyler Robinson's guilty. Tyler Robinson's guilty, and there's no pushback because the defense can't push back. If anything, where is his family? Why are they not coming out in his defense? If anything, Tyler Robinson's family, if there's one fucking person who thinks that he might be getting shafted here, they need to come out and step up and speak out right now, right? And push back.
I think the reason is because they know they're going to be called as witnesses. And so my understanding of the gag order is they would fall within
that was gone over yesterday. The gag order only pertains to parties of the case and anyone who is notified that they are going to be called in as a witness. So if they haven't been notified, they can speak, right? Like if they're not already notified as a witness, like the judge, they went over that yesterday.
Aren't they in WITSEC though, Diligent?
What's that?
Aren't they in WITSEC, witness protection?
No, they were there at the trial yesterday.
Okay, but that doesn't mean they're not in witness protection.
Yeah, actually it does. You don't make public appearances when you're in witness protection.
I don't think they're. The question is anyone, I mean, I can't believe that the defense isn't going to call him, right? And so, or the prosecution isn't going to call the parents.
I mean, Blake Nell is a witness. He's speaking on it. You have the victim's wife has his cell phone. She's sharing critical evidence.
She's now a party. She shouldn't be talking at all.
And she's a party. You have what other witnesses? Jack Turek, or I'm not Jack Turek. Frank Turek. There's a shit ton of witnesses who have and are still speaking publicly on this.
Slick Dog, what do you think?
Well, when I think of Josh Hammer, because he talks about it, and we know that he was on the email thread about Charlie leaving the pro-Israel cause. If he has not been notified by the prosecution of the gag order, which they would have to do anyways, even without a gag order. These are all fall under the Utah rules of professional conduct. Maybe that's because he's not a witness. Could he be a target? Of the investigation, and so that's why he's able to speak freely. I mean, that's probably pie in the sky, but
no, it sounds like he's not, that they're not investigating those angles at all, right? They haven't reached out to Harrison. They haven't followed up on the text messages. Cash Patel came out and told you that there's no evidence of foreign involvement, right? So he shut down DNI access, right? He blocked that DNI forward person's access into investigating the foreign intelligence angle of this. So there's clearly indications of containment, and just like with Epstein, the scope of the investigation is limited by how far the investigators go, right? So if they only focus on one angle, it's at the expense of other possibilities.
right. And the prosecution's job is to prosecute the case as was outlined in the original, the 7 points that were outlined
charging document.
In the original information charging document. That's their job, and so they're going to prosecute those charges. It's not the job of the prosecution to unravel a whole conspiracy theory, of course.
But it is the job of the defense, though, right?
Well,
yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And I think that and again, I haven't thought about it till this evening, I think that the defense is just laying low in the grass. If I'm them, and I don't do this for a living, except in civil cases, I would be, who is it in the Hamilton? I'm not standing still. I'm lying in wait, right? And they may be just lying in wait. Come on, say some more bullshit. We're gonna unravel you.
I think that's hopeful thinking on his part. This whole thing looks like just a shit show to me, and a WWE freaking thing. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I agree. It's I don't know, man. There's a lot of frustrating things with this, but the full-on media campaign right now that we're seeing from all these shills,
it's horrible.
You know what, though? I'm kind of glad that it's happening because they're expending their credibility. That they haven't had their credibility very long. I would say over the last year or so, 2 years, in the wake of the death or the loss of the legacy or mainstream media's credibility, the so-called new media has emerged. But I'm watching their credibility just plummet. You can see it in the responses and in their numbers. You can see their numbers are declining. The comments are horrible. They're getting clowned. They're getting completely destroyed in the reply sections to their posts. And it's obvious that they are shilling something that doesn't hold up under scrutiny. And they deserve exactly what they're getting, and I don't think it could happen fast enough. It needs to happen faster. Let them drown themselves, so to speak. Terry, you can say something if you want, and then I go to Australian.
Again, I think it could be a defense strategy to let these people say whatever bullshit they're going to say and get themselves in deeper and deeper. Someone was saying that they had released a bunch of documents or something. And, and I don't know, that came up and I said, well, oftentimes when people just dump documents, they don't know what's in them. And people will find really good stuff for the other side. So again, I think I'm going to put this for the moment, not up to defense and competence. I'm going to, at the moment, subject to change, say it's a strategy and they're going to unleash at the right moment. I hope that's true. I'm done.
Thank you. Go ahead, Australian.
Yeah, I think absolutely. In any mega trial, there's going to be a bombshell phase, right? There has to be a bombshell phase. Even in her.
I just wanted to point out something. Jack Posobiec, okay, 229,000 views. They got 837 likes. I mean, talking about this Tyler, he has 3.2 million followers. That's like the views and the likes. Look at this. Look at this. Hold on. I'll let them talk for a minute.
Heard or Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial. There's bombshell phases. So we're going to see the bombshell phase from the
Shit the
prosecution.
bed. You're not serious, are you?
Yeah, that was the bombshell of that case for me.
And also from the defense. But I'm wondering now, are they going to actually run with the defense, or is he going with a guilty plea?
From the posturing that's being described by Slick Dog, and I'm going to look at the case. We have a Dropbox full of the motion notifications to the case notifications to go through. It sounds like it's very active, as if they are actually structuring for a solid defense, which would imply that he's not pleading guilty, right?
And when we think of that, I'm wondering, because at least if I'm understanding what allegedly took place correctly, the individual takes the shot, he then folds the rifle in half, goes to the edge of the roof, jumps off the roof, stuffs the rifle down his pants, and then hobbles off. Is that wrong or right?
No, had the rifle stuffed up his pants and walked like a peg leg pirate up onto the roof. And
I'm so thankful you asked this. I love Diligent's recounting of this every time. It's so funny.
He climbed up all the stairs and everything with this rifle stuffed in his skinny.
Oh no, I was looking at the view count versus the like, and it seems like it's pretty widely spread like that on all profiles, so maybe I was assuming wrong. But it's crazy that he has that many followers and that few views and likes. I mean, that just seems wild to me.
Skinny jeans somehow, without anybody noticing. Across through the tunnel, up along every possible camera entry point. Although there was a ton of places anywhere, he actually could have gone any other direction and not really been on camera, but he decided to take the most visible, most recorded path, according to them. And then with his pirate peg leg of a rifle barrel broken in half, and his skinny jean somehow bent his legs at a full, almost 45-degree angle with his knees without seeing the barrel protruding anywhere. In his peg leg or skinny jeans, and then climbed up onto the roof, assembled the rifle on the roof behind this little parapet wall, and then climbed over and took a shot, and then he ran across. He glided across the roof with the rifle and then jumped down with it wrapped in a towel or whatever. And then deposited it in the woods, in an ideal location for police to find.
and then he awaited for the squad cars to leave the vicinity, his words, not mine, before he decided to return, as he declared to his lover. Again, his words, not mine.
Well, Diligent.
I was so waiting for you to say by the chicken coop. This was the perfect time for the chicken coop, and you left out the chicken coop. Go ahead.
I think they got the gist.
That's a double entendre with Timcast because, the chickens got shot allegedly.
Exactly. If only the chickens could tell us what
the chickens
what he was
can
doing.
tell you. Glory.
I picked up on it, Noxie. Well
Glory
done.
is mine. I just want to say, for the record, I am the first one to call him Timmy Smollett, and I am vindicated. Okay, he called, even when they tried to, the new media shills tried to debunk me by trying to, his police report, and then it says right on the police report, cannot be substantiated. He refused to turn over surveillance footage, and then he's like, well, I didn't want it to leak or something, blah, 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 blah. Okay, bro, okay. Juicy smouille forever.
But in all seriousness, Diligent, mate, how could his defense counsel not be able to?
What do y'all think about Tim Pool in the chat? Live chat? I think Valhalla did a stream or a question about, was it Tim? No, it was somebody else. Oh, Erika Kirk last night. He did that. It was 97% people were on Candace Owens side versus Erika Kirk or whatever. That was wild. 97. You can't get 97% of. If you say is the sky blue, if I do a poll, you're not gonna get 97% that says the sky is blue.
Demonstrate to a jury beyond a reasonable doubt that it's almost impossible for him to make these athletic moves with a rigid steel gun stuffed down his pants, similar to the argument that was made during the OJ case. If the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit, right? Surely his defense counsel was just thinking of the mechanics behind the movement, the human gait, if they do have something like that, and how you'd be prevented from being able to move as they are alleging he is moving.
I mean, I think that there is so much here for the defense to work with to either A, get this case just thrown out on a motion, because there's a lot of grounding that the things that doesn't add up here, and then two, improper handling of evidence, for example. So chain of custody is a big issue in this case. I think that when it gets down to like convincing the jury, the physics of having this fucking massive 30-06 stuffed in his skinny jeans without anybody catching him, and I did 3 walkthroughs of that place on video live. I hosted a space, 2 times there, and they're even like when they were gone for like break or whatever, there was fucking people all over the place. Like you could not walk anywhere and not be seen by at least one person. And when it's busy, like I went there during school hours, it was extremely busy, right? Like there's literally no place that you could really kind of get through without being seen by somebody. And then when Charlie Kirk was there, it was packed, right? So like, the odds of him, being seen and then not like raising any flags, having this massive fucking rifle stuffed down in skinny jeans, I feel like are slim to none. But then, so that part, but then also the ballistics, the physics, they're going to have experts come up there and be like, look, they're going to show a video, all those videos you see of a neck just getting decimated by a 30-06 bullet, going through concrete, and going through metal, and then also decimating the neck. And then I'm trying to say that it didn't somehow decimate his neck, or that it didn't get through the skin. It's going to be hard to sell. They're going to have to really sell the jury. And I think that they've done so much toxifying of the jury pool that this is probably going to have a really good case for a change of venue on that note as well. So like there's a lot of legal angles, I think, that we're going to, if he has a good defense team, and we'll find out,
Yeah, diligent. I just don't understand how the body mechanics alone will not justify exculpatory evidence. I just don't understand that. How are they going to make an argument against that? Like, people understand how people walk, the range of movement, restriction, and it's very easy to replicate that. You put someone of a similar frame with the gun down the pants in the skinny jeans, as you said, and you can run that experiment, 1,000 times? And we already understand that it can't be done. So how, therefore, if we already understand it can't be done, why wouldn't that be exculpatory evidence?
Well, I mean, exculpatory evidence is up for the jury to decide, right? That's how you introduce a reasonable doubt. So, yeah, and then sometimes a judge can deem something so exculpatory he dismisses a case. I don't see that happening here, but it can happen. So we'll have to wait and see. Let's go to Daniel.
Hey, man. Hope you guys are all having a good night. Very interesting, nice discussion. Thank you for having me up. I asked for a mic when you guys were talking about the cell phone. In my experience and in with people I know, the way that the government handles cell phones is you don't get them back. They definitely take them as evidence, 100%, right off the bat. Like her saying today or whenever she said that she has the phone, that blew my mind. That's ridiculous. The government would have the phone. Whether they take a copy of it, make a copy, whatever they do, I don't know that tech too well, but I know for a fact they take the phone, and not only do they take it, it's really difficult to get it back. Like until maybe a year after their trial, you request it back, and they like give it back to you when they want to, basically. And to say, like, nobody said that they don't need the phone. Nobody argued that. I'm just saying for her to say she has it still, that's fucking weird. The government should have and would have the phone, and they would have it for a very long time, like years. And it would be very difficult to get that phone back. Because not only do they want what's on the phone, they also want to see any future communications that may come to the phone, et cetera, et cetera. So that's why I asked for a mic.
I think our lawyers.
Sorry, Diligent. I just want to add on to that because that's actually when I put my hand up too. I was talking about it earlier where if there's like for example, if there's a death in the family, let's say my dad dies and I go to Apple with his phone and I say, hey, I need to get into my dad's phone, get some of our old family pictures, etc. They're going to require a death certificate as well as executor of private information documents to basically make sure that I'm not trying to get in there to like tamper with his will or access his emails or anything along those lines. So from an investigative standpoint, like a wife is always going to be somebody who, if they come in, they're like, my husband died, all that information has to be taken care of and done legally before Apple will give iCloud data or private information, just because of that reason, to make sure people aren't tampering with it. And I was looking it up just because of what you and Catherine and everyone was discussing around that. So I asked Grok just how that changes as far as just Apple in context. If your family member is in a homicide investigation, and it says their iPhone and iCloud data is part of an ongoing investigation. So your access as a family member is significantly restricted, potentially delayed, denied, or channeled entirely through law enforcement agencies. The phone and its contents are treated as evidence in a criminal case, which take legal priority over personal inheritance or privacy requests. So as far as Apple's concerned, their policies emphasize user privacy but comply with law enforcement demands only, while protecting against unauthorized access to the device. So,
and if I just may, Diligent, say one more thing. This may sound opaque and funny, but my wife nonstop watches these murder mysteries. I actually am annoyed by it that she watches those, because I'm like, who the hell wants to hear about some hillbillies in Mississippi who were involved in this murder case, but she watches them nonstop. And almost every single time, it's a close associate or family member, and usually the closest family member to the person that was killed. So that's a little weird that nobody close to him is being investigated. And then the other thing is that somebody, I think it was Stu Peters, and I'm not shilling for him, I'm just saying this made sense to me, said that Jackie Kennedy, imagine Jackie Kennedy going on television after JFK was shot and pleading with people not to dig into the whys, whens, wheres, whats, and please stop, you know? It's all very fucking weird. It's all very fake and gay. And it makes me feel 100% that she's part of it and they're all fucking part of it. And that it goes all the way to the top. I don't have any proof of that, but this seems so fucking weird. It makes so little sense that, yeah. That's it, man. They would have the phone. She should give them the phone. They should have her phone. They should have everybody's fucking phone that's closely associated to him. So the fact that she's bragging that she has the phone, no, you should be saying I gave them the phone. They have it.
I think it's interesting that she didn't disclose how she had the phone. You know what I mean? Like, it's just weird. It is fucking weird. There's so much.
And
there's
like
so
I was
many
saying, like
weird aspects to this.
how could they give it back to her when there's still an open investigation for his murder going on? Like that is so.
Well, I mean, we don't know that they ever had it. I want to know that now.
But in that case,
we don't have any.
Case, they would subpoena it because, like, you know, what if you go through that and you find out he was having an affair on her, or they were going to get a divorce or something like that? You know, like that's always the investigative line of thinking you have to go.
It seems like they would have. It seems like in the course of their investigation, they immediately would have asked for the phone. And if she's cooperating, they wouldn't have to subpoena it. You only have to subpoena it if they don't cooperate. You know, they always ask for permission before they have to get a search warrant, right? Because they're going to.
100% diligent, and if you say no and you don't give the phone when they ask for it, you're instantly a suspect. And they say okay, then they start looking at you, and then they get the phone whether you give it to them or not.
I want to know how she got the phone. I want to know. That's a very important question, I think.
And diligent, if it was your wife or my wife and she was murdered,
I would never marry a woman with a tattoo above her ass crack.
No, I'm not saying her. Me neither. I'm saying if our wife, if we were I'm married, if my wife was murdered and I had her phone, I wouldn't want the phone. I would want them to have it. I would give it to them. There would be no question. I would not have the phone at this time if I were her. I would have given it to them. Please, here, take the phone, you know?
Yeah, my Papa always told me never trust a woman with a tattoo above her ass crack. On that note, Australian talks, and then we'll go to Dawn.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. It is wild to think that she got possession of the phone, and they haven't explained, hey, listen, it's cool because we cloned it, because that would dismiss all this speculation immediately. So you think it'd be prudent of them to do so to allay everyone's concerns and fears as to why this has happened, because do all Gen 6s have their devices returned as yet, Diligent? Or is the FBI still holding on to plenty of their devices? Like they were right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that some of them still do have their devices, yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing, I got a bail, but it's been awesome as always. I did have a quick one for Zintani, because we understand Zintani understands the female mind. Is that correct, Diligent?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, so
I am a representative, yes.
Based on that, Zintani, observing Candace's body language and behaviour in relation to her coverage of this, and juxtapose that against Erika's participation in media about this, how are you evaluating that? Is one staged more than the other? Are they both genuine as far as you can see? Some things making you raise your eyebrows.
And which one of them is actually in love with Charlie and which one isn't? I want a sincere analysis.
I'm surprised that I'm being asked this, but I actually do have an opinion. speaking for all women out there, surprised when someone wants to know their opinion. When I look at Candace and I look at Erika, I see two mentally ill women. I enjoy listening to what you guys are seeing, but I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing two very mentally ill women handling it in very different ways. I don't see the stuff you guys are seeing, but I am listening to what you guys are seeing.
Well, wait, did they have pre-existing conditions that have only come to the surface now as a result of the grief? Or was this always there, but it was
Candace thought
caught by the public eye?
Candace thought that mold was giving her systemic yeast infections, so I would think that it's probably always been.
It's a possibility. That's a possibility.
I think that Candace is going a bit manic, and now she's running with it. And I'm not saying that the stuff she's covering isn't important. I've been listening to it, and I find it very interesting. But I definitely think she's manic and sort of, she strikes me as mentally ill.
And what about Erika?
Erika, I think she's handling her grief by being, she's in a cloud. So what you guys are saying, like my fiance has died, so I understand this. When your person is dead, I probably looked like I didn't care as well at times, but internally I was insane. I was insane. So I see a very angry.
So you're projecting your own trauma into your observation.
No, I'm saying that grief on the outside can look odd to people if you're not the one feeling it. You may think
Do you think it's possible that she also might not be feeling that kind of grief and it's coming through? It's possible, right?
I think it is so highly, highly, highly unlikely. She bore him children. Even if she was in some conspiracy
they were
plan
in a really short relationship, right?
4 years, and starting a family is not that, and that's the beginning of the rest of your life. It doesn't make it easier.
I mean, so you think it's perfectly normal for a woman to do a media tour, just a couple of months after the very traumatic and violent death of her husband? You think that's a normal grieving stage, what we're witnessing?
Is it a coping mechanism?
I think she's running on. Yeah, I think she's running on hate and pain, and she's creating something out of it. She's running aimlessly in the same way.
Why did she forgive Tyler Robinson, the next week at their Super Bowl, at the Super Bowl
because
funeral, she's not forgiving the people who are still looking into the murder.
Because she wanted to appeal to Christianity's virtue of forgiveness, because she's looking for something to make things better. I don't think she's in on some plan.
I didn't say that she was in on it. Okay.
I think she's a grieving and hateful woman. But I am but a woman. I have woman brain, so.
Hey, Diligent, have we seen her parents? Have we seen Mr. and Mrs. Or Erika's parents?
We haven't seen any of the parents. We haven't. They were at the funeral, and they were also at the award ceremony. Well, actually, Charlie's parents didn't go to the award ceremony for the president. And he has a sister that's a liberal, too. And I'm in the middle of something on that side of things. But there is the families are extremely low profile. And I mean extremely, especially Charlie's parents. They are extremely, extremely low profile. They didn't go to the Presidential Freedom Medal post-hospice. They didn't go. But they were all at the funeral in Arizona, and they still kept low key. So they didn't.
Yeah, I totally get that. I totally get that. But her father, Erika's father, even if he was a private person previously, you would think he would now. Obviously, his daughter's husband has been assassinated, she's still daddy's little girl. Surely he would come out and almost be the spokesperson, her protector, stage managing everything, rather than these people orchestrating.
I think that they're sticking her out front. I think they're sticking her out front because her status as a grieving widow, as you heard. I said this, I called it before it happened. I said they're going to wheel the grieving widow out and shield TPUSA behind her, and you are going to be a villain if you continue to scrutinize or be skeptical or ask questions, because she is shielded by virtue. And
yeah, I agree with Diligent. What Diligent's saying as far as the parents go, some people I could understand 100%. There's people that will not be in the public eye. Even though I do freaking YouTube videos, like for like my community, being thrust into fame, like if my channel blew up and freaking got all popular and shit, I would seriously consider going and making all my previous videos private and just shutting the shit down. Like yeah, it's not about, like, fame scares me, so that's how I literally feel about it. I can't even imagine. It sounds like misery to me to be famous. And so I get that any parent or any person wouldn't want to be thrown into the limelight, especially while they're grieving the loss of their either son-in-law or sons or whatever, however, depending on which grandparent you're talking about or parent you're talking about. It does look weird. The whole thing's weird. The whole thing seems fake and gay. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I agree that if they tulip, if they don't even look at each other or whatever and stuff like that, that shows awkward family dynamics. But sorry, awkward family dynamics happen. That's just reality. I mean, I don't know if you have any awkward family dynamics, but I have plenty. I have plenty of family members that there's awkward family dynamics. So that doesn't say anything to me other than maybe somebody was a shithead one time, and you don't know who it was. You know what I mean? But anyway.
And exactly as I predicted, okay? You saw Matt, you can go look at my timeline, you can see it happen today. Matt Walsh come out and said almost verbatim, she is virtuous, she is this, she is that, and you must feel sorry for her, and she is a great person, and you cannot ask questions. Yeah, you just sit your bitch ass down and accept that what we're feeding you. That's kind of
Wait,
the vibe.
can I add to mine? I certainly believe that people are using Erika or pulling strings on Erika. I do think that. I think that Erika is being controlled and probably is in a position where she's very, very, very easy to control.
When she said stop it twice during that interview, and she was allegedly that was directed at Candace, and she changed her demeanor a little bit as well. There was a little bit of,
a little bit. Have you seen the side by side?
Yeah, I did, bro. That's what I mean. Like, am I wrong in thinking something was seriously up with the eyes and everything there? Like, did I see it on slow-mo? Did I see a deep fake?
It was crazy. It was crazy.
Was it like Biden walking away from the people at the snow and they said, I just caught it from the wrong camera angle? Or was something up with that?
I don't know what that was about.
I can tell you she definitely got the crazy eyes. Hold on, I'll go let them keep talking. I'll go try to find the clip.
I try to keep my opinions on her behavior to myself as much as possible, because when it does come out, and because I'm just so skeptical of everything since this summer, dude, and I'm actually grateful because I wasn't. If they were on my team, I wasn't skeptical. I didn't have any scrutiny. I just bought everything and defended it, just like we see a lot of people doing now. And I wasn't because I was getting paid, which makes me think that not everybody we think is getting paid. I think a lot of them are also, well, I mean, of course it's beneficial for them to please their side, right? And they're rewarded by promotion. But
I don't know when to play that. Let's see.
Pastor Candace Owens, okay? At one time, a friend of Charlie's, at one time, an employee of Turning Point. She has been one of the main peddlers of these conspiracies, and she is making a huge amount of money on it. She is building her business off of these lies. What do you want to say to her and the other people that are putting these lies?
Look at those eyes, bro. Can I zoom in? It won't let me zoom. Oh my gosh, dude.
Out into the world right now. Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop. The podcaster.
She gives off really hinky vibes, dude.
also, they see themselves as defending their team and the whole tribal thing. And so I don't think it's all that they're shills, but
shit, Ian's live.
like, where is your line? You know what I mean? Like,
well, speaking of that team.
Hey, Ian's live on Twitch, guys. I'm gonna go check that out. I always watch his lives, so I'm gonna end this stream. This is Diligent Denizon's space that he held last night. He's holding another one tonight. Since Ian's live, I'll probably stream the space that Diligent's holding tonight. Let's see. Where's that? Anyway, he's holding one tonight. I'll probably stream that one tomorrow so that I can pause it and stuff and enjoy Ian's Twitch stream. If y'all don't know how to do that, just go to Twitch and look up Ian Carroll. Yeah, go hang out with that homie. He's cool as shit. I love him. All right. See y'all guys later.